This is Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. It's sponsored by Independent Bank. My co-host is Katy Huckle. And today, Katy, we're talking Dancing with the Y Stars. It's a little early, but it's never too early to start talking about it. Nor is it too early to shut off your phone before we start recording the show. Gotcha.
Oh, man, come on. I caught it so fast. Okay. That's good.
We heard it.
I know.
There's no hiding it.
Okay.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
Did you have a good weekend?
I had a wonderful weekend.
I've missed you. So we got several shows ahead.
Yes.
So when we don't see each other for a week, it's like, how's the family? How's your blood pressure? How's your cholesterol? I mean, no, we're...
It's fine.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a little goofy in here.
I know.
Dancing with the Y Stars. Never too early to start talking about that.
It never is. And I get goosebumps, Rich, because I've always said this is the time of the year when the superstars emerge out of Cadillac. And these are superstars that the community didn't anticipate. And so what I mean is people who typically do this for a living, they're going to get all glammed up and they're going to stand up in front of 800 people and dance their fannies off. And so in the studio, we have the director of the Cadillac area YMCA, Mike Kelso, and we have a superstar realtor with City to Shore, Jenni Johnson. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So here's some interesting perspective on these two. Mike's running the Y, ultimately running the event, and the net proceeds, which is a significant fundraiser for the Y. Is that true?
Yeah, last 6 years or so, we averaged between $40,000 and $60,000. So that's our biggest event, fundraising event for the year.
In one night, this is. So, I mean, that's huge. And then Jenni has an interesting perspective for us this morning because Jenni has danced, and quite well, I might add. I was there. I saw it. So what would you say about that experience?
Incredible experience. I finished that experience and said that was absolutely hands down one of the greatest things I've ever done in my whole life. Terrifying, unbelievably terrifying. That this is definitely something, as we're asking dancers, that they will never regret doing.
Right. I don't think anyone, I mean, how many years did you say you've been
This is year 11.
Okay. In 11 years, not one and I know a lot of these folks that have danced, not one would say, gosh, I wish I wouldn't have done that. Mm-hmm. I do have friends that have said, gosh, I wish I would have practiced more.
Yeah, once in a while that happens.
Yes. Yeah. But so, Jenni, if there's someone out there in the community that's flirting with this idea and they've been asked, but they're just not, what would you tell them?
Absolutely do this. This is, again, one of the most incredible experiences. You, up into the entire event, it's not even just the event, the opportunity to dance, at your own schedule. So all of our dancers get to have their own schedule, which is nice. That's always one of the biggest concerns when we're asking dancers. Well, what's the time commitment? Mm-hmm. It's honestly as much or as little as you want to put into it. And every practice, I mean, who doesn't like being able to work out a little bit and get a little bit of active in your daily lifestyle and doing it through dance. So those, we try really hard to pair our partners together with personalities and with schedules and all of those kinds of things, just to make sure they're a really good fit and that it works well for their lives.
I see. Okay. That's good to know, too, for anybody who's thinking about it. The other unintended consequence, I feel, is new friendships are made in this, isn't it?
Entirely. Absolutely. I have, matter of fact, my dance partner, I just texted last week. There was a snafu our choreographer had sent us, and she's like, just wondering if you still remember this little hiccup. And she sent us little video verbiage. So, we still stay in contact regularly, I would say.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Mike, Rich is right. We need the details on the event itself so that people can buy tickets and mail checks to the Y.
Yeah, so there's two elements to the event. Buying tickets to go to the event live, and there's also voting, which is by donation. So $5 is one vote. You can vote once. You can vote 500 times or anywhere in between. Most tickets are acquired through dancers. They want to go sell them to friends and family and anybody who wants to support them to get them there that night, and through sponsorship. If you would like to try to get tickets through the Y, you can check out our website and our dance event page and submit a ticket request there. That's very limited. So it's best to look at that cast that's on the website and try to get a ticket through them, because that supports them and their team as well as the Y.
Tell us when and where.
Yes, so Saturday, October 8th, that's our traditional second Saturday of October at the Wex. And we're looking to be sold out again this year. We are just, I think, a couple dozen tickets away out of the almost 700.
No kidding.
Yeah.
There's a pent-up demand to be entertained out there, Rich. You know that? People.
There is. There absolutely is. And it's interesting that we're, a couple months away, and yet there's so little availability for tickets at this point.
Yeah, so we kick off the event for the cast in early June. And so we let them get tickets that night, checked out, and they go start, working their networks, getting supporters that way. And that's really starting to settle out now. So kind of get those last minute arrangements made and then do that really big seating chart. That's my job.
Oh, is it like a wedding, only worse? I mean, only better?
Yes, it's like a wedding for 700 with 9 couples.
Wow. Okay, so Rich, I got to tell you, because I got invited to the kickoff event because I MC this thing. And I looked.
You may forget this, Katy Huckle, but you and I emceed the first one together 11 years ago.
Oh my gosh, we did. And then you do the vocal intro and have for years too.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you're right. We were like kindergartners then.
We were just babies.
Yes. Yeah. This thing has evolved since. Yes, that's right. Oh my goodness. Yes. Well, time is moving quite quickly for us old folks. So this is what I wanted to tell you about this kickoff meeting. These people are highly organized. They and Kurt Bainey stood up and it was like, ding, 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 this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it. And the dancers were paired off with their choreographer and talking about costuming and music and dance style and all those types of things. But one exciting thing is, as I looked around the room and we were up top of Raven, I thought, who are all these people? Meaning there's fresh energy and blood and people willing to step up and entertain in town. And that's wonderful. What would you say about that, Mike?
Yeah, so our dance committee, that's myself as a staff person and Jenni and a bunch of other volunteers, we start in March. So it's almost a year-round work to do this. And we start talking who we know that would be willing to do this and who has a good network of folks. Jenni's really good at that. She knows everybody. And so that's one of her talents that she brings to it, and really knows personalities well and how to convince people to do things. She's really good at that too.
You didn't.
No. She just never resorts to violence, just charm. She brings out the charm.
Oh, I know that about Jenni.
Yeah, so we really work hard in recruiting right away, and then matching up, folks that we think will get along and have fun together, and that's the big part of it to get going.
So Jenni, from I want to hear this from you. When you approach someone, kind of tentatively, because you're trying to convince them to commit to dance, what does that conversation look like? Do you call them? Do you ask to meet with them? How does that go?
Usually it's a phone call. If I have their number, their contact, a lot of times Facebook is phenomenal for that, right?
Okay.
And it's just to reach out and say, hey, I know you'd be phenomenal. It's nothing you would ever regret.
Okay.
It's a flexible schedule. I try to answer all of their concerns and questions in the one ask and say, can I just bring your name to the committee? That's all I'm asking. Would you be willing to allow me to bring your name to the committee, and our committee, kind of toss that around?
Wow.
And I would say most of the time they respond going, I'm a horrible dancer. Right?
Rich, are you a good dancer, Rich?
Absolutely not.
Right? And this is always my response.
That would be what I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Okay.
Is we have choreographers, right? You don't get to free dance at all. So we're literally teaching you every single step that you're going to be doing. So yeah, usually we get a lot of people that are very receptive. Some that we've got to nudge just a little bit extra because they want to do it, but it's scary. They're not sure. And so we try just to answer all of their questions.
Right. Give them some confidence is what we're trying to do in that time frame.
Yeah.
And what's great about being 11 years into this, many of our choreographers have been volunteering for this almost all those years. So, they're good dancers themselves. A lot of them work with the kids at the Landing Dance Academy. They've worked with adults, but this is a little different than what they get to do normally. So they look forward to it every year. And they're a real asset of consistency in this event.
Okay.
As they, Bridget Coffey, Alicia Elmore, they've done it, I think, every single time. Like, they learned some over those first couple of years as dancers and then moved to choreographers. So that's a huge part of it. But what's great about, you talking about that crowd, when we met the cast, right? When we're all together at our kickoff dinner, is it's a lot of young professionals. And the first time maybe they're getting involved with a nonprofit as a volunteer. And it's introducing them to the idea of community involvement and philanthropy. And it's a new group of that every year. And that is huge, not just for the Y, but our entire community of nonprofits. They see they can be a part of a group that's different than their family, different than their work crowd or whatever, and meet new people. And that's just as big a benefit as anything.
And it's so much fun too. I mean, I know the nerves are jangling because I'm back there with the dancers, and I know the relief that I can see, even if they don't win. I've never seen anyone, well, not publicly, I guess, be mad that they didn't win. Everyone's very supportive of each other. How does that happen, Jenni?
I just think it starts with the kickoff dinner. You know, like everybody comes together, you get to meet everyone. Everyone's in the same boat at that time. And I think you have dancers that stand up and watch and go, oh, I should have probably put in a little bit more time. Or, you know what? I got this and I'm bringing my A game and I'm going to lay it all out there. So, and a big piece of that is how they're bringing, are they selling tickets? Are they bringing in their votes? You know, that's essentially how they're winning is they're bringing in folks. So we do two different awards. There's a People's Choice Award and then a Judges Award. So the People's Choice Award, that are the folks that you're bringing to the seats. And that's another amazing piece of this whole event is that we have 800 people that are sold out every single year. And you have a handful of those people that are regulars that are coming every year because they're excited about the event. They know about the event. But we have a tremendous amount of new faces to the event every single year because we have new dancers that have never been a part of this or even maybe a part of much in the community. So for them to also come and see this,
right.
I mean, it's a win-win all the way around.
So I have a funny dancer story. I think you danced, and then your friend Jason Burton decides he's going to throw his hat in the ring. And I don't know if you know Jason Rich, but Jason's a very successful and talented home builder. He's been president of the home builders. He's been in the game for a long time. And so I called him one day on a business thing. I'll never forget, I was in the Minneapolis airport, and I needed to talk to Jason for a minute. So I called Jason, and he answers the phone, future champion of Dancing with the Y Stars. And I said, we were like 2 weeks out. I was like, whoa, like, you might want to slow your roll until you see. He goes, no, I'm going to win. And he did. So it was just so wonderful because he put his mind to it and he put the work in. And here I am seeing my jaw just dropped because I saw someone in a totally different life role. And same with Jerry Coop from High Point. I mean, lots and lots of people that you can't help but just think that person is a plumber. You know, and then they get up, or that person is a doctor. I mean, and we've had people dance with broken bones. We've had people dance after crashes and choreography. I mean, the show must go on, as they say. Yes. One year, this is a good one, Tracy Winkle and Alicia Elmore were dancing, and the music got botched up. Can you imagine? And it was that song, Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. And as she was dressed in, cutoffs and a flannel shirt, like with a piece of wheat in her mouth, a cowboy hat, and he was doing push-ups, and she was sitting on his back as he did push-ups, and the song started, and then things went sideways and got all messed up. We had to start over. We had to start doing the push-ups all over again, and they won. So, yeah, how much are tickets?
They're $85 a piece.
Okay.
Includes a great dinner and a cash bar, and of course, great entertainment.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Now, I know you use this as an opportunity to focus on what the Y does in the community and some outreach. Is that going to happen again this year?
Yeah. So, I mean, I love it. I get a captive audience of 700-800 people, which is the only time that happens in the year. So we typically do a little review of what we've done, in the last year as far as community outreach and our mission programs and maybe what's coming in the future. And it's, a lot of people know one piece of the Y of their experience. Maybe they were in a particular program, but it's nice to highlight some other things that people don't know about because we have a lot of different programs that we do. So it's a good opportunity for that as well.
What about corporate sponsors? Who stepped up and do you need more?
Yeah, so we have our annual sponsors that get to be a part of the dance, and then, usually through dancers, or just find out about the event. We get some folks, some companies that sponsor that way. And depending on their level, they get some tickets to the event and then definite recognition at the event in our marketing.
Okay. So all the ladies want to know about costumes, Rich, because it's like, dressing up Barbies. I mean, really fancy, fun clothes to a certain theme, I would say. So, Jenni, how do the dancers select their costumes and where do they come from?
So I can speak on my behalf,
Okay.
which was, I'm pretty sure it was 32 orders from Amazon and returns until I couldn't figure it out. And my partner, bless his sweet soul, decided to go ahead and just get his costume, right, as a male, and purchases a leather suit.
No.
At this point, I'm like, I had been trying on basically muumuus, and you are in a leather outfit. What are we going to do? So I went to the Halloween costume store and pulled off everything I was completely wildly uncomfortable to try on, tried it on, and said, all right, this is what we're going to go with. So costumes come from everywhere. I know we've had Amazon. I know Landing Dance have had tons of dancers, and they've got great costumes. So they've got kind of a good pool of people who are willing to loan those out.
Right.
Any of our consignment shops a lot of times, or even our Goodwills, Salvation Armies, Halloween USA. People just get stuff from just about everywhere. I actually just spoke with one of the dancers, and she's like, it was my Halloween costume a couple years ago. Perfect. So that was one of her first pieces she had.
Mm-hmm.
So you can hear a lot of variety in there. So we have folks that are dressed up very classic, elegant dress, and then some of us go leather. So, and everywhere in between.
I remember Melissa Schultz coming out in a knockout flapper outfit, and it, of course, it matched the music, and I think it was the year she and Joe Bauman won, and Joe, was in a zoot suit or whatever that look was, and I remember just thinking, it's clever what folks come up with, and in the crowd, it's our one kind of Hollywood night in Cadillac.
Right.
And so Sally, who's run the back room, Sally Goggin, for years, this year she'll be a judge, but she had a rule, and I really think it's important to stick to this. If I were a dancer, this is a big reveal. It's a big reveal. So while we're all mingling around and, getting the crowd seated and buying votes and selling votes, and your ticket salesperson are walking around, the dancers are sort of sequestered in the green room, as it should be, because we want this wow moment when the spotlight comes up on them and, they're able to show everybody their hard work and the time and effort that went into their costuming too. So I'm going to support Sally and her thoughts about the costumes. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. We don't want to share the costumes, their song choices. All of those are the big reveal moments. They've worked so hard for this. And, some of keeping those nerves calm in the back. It's just like, you're out there to entertain these 800 people. Mm-hmm. You are not Jenni Johnson anymore. You are not Mike Kelso anymore. You are an entertainer for the next 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Give it all your best and have fun with that. And they do.
They do. Oh, gosh, you do. You do. So, find Pat Goggins' store, too. So, of course, the top three are going to come back and dance again. So, you've got 9 couples? Okay. So, the top three are going to come back and dance again. So Pat was in the top 3 with Alicia Elmore as his partner, and so he has to dance again. And he would tell you if he were still with us today, he was not in top physical condition to get out there and do it another time. And there was a lot of hopping and jumping and swinging and dancing and everything. So I come up to him and I thought about bringing bottled water. So that was really, really good. I had a bottled water in my left hand and the mic in my right hand. And I said, well, how did that go, Pat? And he went, I put the mic in Alicia's face and I said, let's start with you. My point is, if you dance twice, that's a lot, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Tell me about that. What does that feel like? It was
a lot. For me, it was a lot about my nerves. Mm-hmm. So, of course, I wanted to win. That's what your goal is, right? Mm-hmm. Also, I did not want to win because I didn't want to have to get back up there and do this at all ever again.
But the second time, is it easier?
That's what they said. I'm not sure it was. I dropped my partner when I wasn't supposed to in one move. It was a hot mess on my behalf. Everybody says it was great. And that's the other thing is, as you've been doing this and practicing and working so hard and every single step you're supposed to be doing. So when you mess up, you feel like it's this huge thing. Nobody notices. Nobody has any clue. They had no clue I dropped him. He popped right back up, rolled off again, and I was, mortified, but it was good. So yes, it was a lot to dance again, but of course that's the goal. That's where you want to be, and thrilled that I had the opportunity to dance again.
Right. Oh, yeah. So let's talk about the crowd, Mike. We want the crowd. I mean, this isn't church. We want feedback from the crowd. We want them to be loud and responsive to the dancers, because I think that gives them confidence and momentum. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And how we do the seating. So the stage is in the middle, and it's surrounded by seating on all four sides. And so everyone kind of has their cheering section. So as the night goes on, where their section is and their supporters, and people, launch up. And again, as the choreographers have done this for years, they know how to mix things into the dance to really play to the crowd. And everybody's got that going on really well. So it's an event.
Right.
And I think you guys as MCs do a phenomenal job with then turning the folks to their crowd.
Oh,
and you
good.
speak directly to the crowd, and that's so exciting for them, so you're directly talking to the people that they're bringing.
And you can feel that support. Honestly, it is like a heat wave coming up on the stage when Alto and I are facing, and we've got the dancers right with us. There's just all kinds of support. And sometimes folks bring their children, and to watch, a little girl or a little boy see mom or dad dance, there's a whole new perspective. They've heard about the practices and the costumes, and, it's been dinner table talk. But to watch a parent in that role, I see their eyes get about this big, and they're so excited. And there's no bigger fan than the kids, And then in between intermissions, the kids like to dance up on the stage and stuff. That's kind of fun, don't you think?
Yeah, it's very cute. We get that every year, and they want to have their little chance in the spotlight and under the mirror ball.
It's a photo op.
Yes, yep, for sure. Everyone gets dressed up and gets their photo op.
Are you going to feed everybody? How does that work with, you said open bar, but what is it, Mike, the food?
Yeah, so full dinner
Wow.
Buffet. We have 2 food lines at 2 different corners because it's a lot of people to feed all at once, so that goes really well. We've been doing this 11 years, and especially Pat and Dan Smith, my predecessor, they really, in the committee then, really tweaked it to make it a really quality event. So.
Okay, I'm going to wager a bet with you, and we'll let Jenni answer it. And my bet is, who do you think is easier to recruit, men or women? For dancers.
I would think it would be easier to recruit women.
Okay, I would think it would be easier to recruit men.
Okay.
So I would say it's probably about 50-50.
Okay.
I feel like maybe we have a little bit more pool of women that we think of as dancers.
Okay.
And I just don't know as though we think of as many men. So it's trying to come up with our lists and trying to figure out, all right, who would be great for this? Who would bring energy to the table? But I would say when we ask the men just as much as we ask the women, most of them are excited. They're thrilled that we even reached out or asked. They're honored. And it should be, we're reaching out to what we feel is cream of the crop. We are excited that you're going to be representing the YMCA, that you are going to put the time and effort into something like this. And we're grateful for that as well.
That's great. I think, too, some folks, I've had friends say, yes, but not now.
Yes.
We
keep them on the list.
Okay,
we
that's
keep
how
them
that
on the
works.
list. Matter of fact, I have a phone or a notes in my phone, and every year I think I have probably 30 names already for next year.
Okay.
That as I'm in different places or different events, and I just see people and I see their personalities, I'm like, oh, I want to ask that person next year. Or, I go to the hair salon and they're like, who you should ask to dance.
Right.
And so we get a lot of that as well. So I just keep a running notes in my phone of different folks. And then the same thing with folks that have said, not this year, but come back around next year. And a lot of times I would say most of them do step up and they do the following year. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And I have to say, too, last year, right around this time, Mike, you and I had a meeting. We sat down, you and me and Cammie Cook, and you said, hey, can your students help us out this year? And so we had 3 of our students combined to capture the early videos of your couples last year. And one of those students worked that experience into an apprenticeship at 9 and 10. and she's working out there full time right now. So it ended up being great for our students too to get that kind of experience. So thank you
awesome.
for that.
Yeah,
and thank the CTC too for putting the kids on it. We really appreciate that too.
You bet.
Yes. So Mike, we say sometimes that nonprofit events can run a cycle. They can have a shelf life. This is one that is still going very strong after 11 years. What's the secret?
Great people like Jenni, as she was articulating how she thinks about this constantly, basically, and keep notes. That's a heavy lift, to ask for volunteers.
Yes.
So that's the consistency of our volunteer group, the consistency of our choreographers, and I think what keeps it going is it's a fresh cast, right?
Yes.
So even though
they bring new family and new life
Yes.
and new people every year.
Yep. It's the same event for Jenni and I again this year, but it's also different because we're working with a new set of people. So that keeps it fun. And it's a first for all the dancers. So that keeps it fresh and keeps the excitement going well.
I had a friend that was really thinking about it, and he said, what I'm going to do is just, maybe practice once a month, and it's just going to go the way it's going to go. And I said, I promise you will regret that decision. These people, as you get closer, you ramp up your practices. And I'm like, there are people that look like professionals. So it's one of those that you don't want to be like a deer in headlights and have regrets when you step on the stage. Wouldn't you agree?
I would absolutely agree. Yeah. Matter of fact, right now I just got all of our dancers schedules, so I'm going to pop into different dances. Actually, when I leave here, I'm going to one, and they're generally dancing once or twice a week right now. I have one couple that's dancing 3 times a week right now. I was shocked to see that, so that was pretty exciting to see, But again, just to reiterate kind of where Mike was at, those choreographers are such key to this event. And we're so grateful because a lot of times they are not, new, fresh faces. They're the same people that are putting that time and effort in year after year after year. And I can't even imagine what that end is like, trying to put together a whole dance choreographer, then teaching the people, being at every one of those practices. So just really grateful.
Yes, and I can tell you, because 3 of them are really good friends, they love it. And they get to step out of their role as businesswoman, doctor, wife, mother, to have a little sparkle too. And they make new friends every year. The choreographers do. So yeah, hats off to the choreographers. They're a huge part of it too. I agree. Now that I look at it, with your committee has been around a while too. And how often do they meet?
We start in March and kind of twice that month. And then there's a couple pushes. So there's a real push to get cast up till June. And then once we get that cast together and kick them off, then they're kind of doing their thing. And we go to once a month a little bit in the summer. And now once we get through August, then we start going twice a month. And then September, we're once a week leading up to the event the second week of October.
Mm-hmm. It is very well run. And again, such a critical fundraiser for the Y. Is it your largest fundraiser of the year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
This is our big one.
Okay, so we're going to stick the landing on it.
That's right.
You see what I did there?
That was good.
Stick the landing? Okay. What else, Rich?
Well, we need to go back, date, time, all location, how to get tickets,
Ticket price.
all that stuff.
Yep.
Yes, so Saturday, October 8th is the event. The time to try to get tickets is now and yesterday.
Okay.
CadillacAreaYMCA.org is our website. You'll see the event button up there on the website to get all the details. $85 a ticket. We have tables of 6 and tables of 10. And first thing is look at that cast, see if there's somebody there, and get a hold of them and see what they've got left for tickets, and they'll try to get you at one of their tables.
Are you going to sell out?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Get them now.
That's
Get
right.
them now.
Sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Mike Kelso, our YMCA director, and Jenni Johnson, the lady running the committee here, thank you so much for your time today. I know it's going to be a big win for
Thank
Cadillac
you.
and for the Y.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Join us next week. More local talk, same time, same station. It's sponsored by Independent Bank. It's Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY.